It's time for weekly wins, and we're going to talk a little bit about cholesterol today. Hello everyone, semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the proper human diet, all things related to the proper human diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. Yes, it's Saturday, so we're talking about weekly wins, and I do have just a short discussion on cholesterol today. We're not going very far because, as you can see, well, I've got the Santa hat on, but I've got on my Buckeyes jacket. It's 25 degrees out here, so this is the coldest weather that I've walked in since I started this journey. We'll see how it goes. For those of you new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Don't forget, hit that like, hit the subscribe, drop down in the comments and say hi, Bob. All that stuff helps me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I'm 60 years old. I'm now doing things that I couldn't do when I was 40. Like out here walking up and down the street every day. Yeah, this is not too bad. I think this was just the right amount of clothes for this kind of weather. I've got my heavy mittens on instead of those light blue gloves because, well, it's colder out. It's only 25 degrees. Those of you returning to the channel, welcome back. I'm glad you're here as well. It means a lot to me that you spend just a few moments of your day with me. It was spitting snow a little while ago as I was getting ready to come outside, but it quit again. It's supposed to snow later this afternoon. Talking to you from the past, I don't know if Ohio State beat that team up north yet or not, but by the time you guys see this, you'll be able to, you will know, because the game will be over by then. Unless it's, like a triple or quadruple overtime game. But anyway, let's have a quick discussion about cholesterol. I was thinking about this last night. I've been thinking about it for a while now, but it popped back up in the cycle of my brain to talk about again today. So that's what we're going to talk about. And why I believe, now this is just Bob conjecture here. I have no proof. I'm not a scientist, but see if what I have to say here makes sense to you. The reason everybody's LDL, which isn't actually cholesterol, it's low density lipoprotein, but the reason it goes up when we convert to a proper human diet and stop eating seed oils and plants, seed oils, because they're also plants, seed oils and plants have something in them called sterols. Now, we got to back up for a quick review. We've talked about this before. As you know, there's not a lot of high-end science that goes into coming up with the daily recommendations and what normal levels are. Because, when they made up what normal levels were supposed to be, they just called up a bunch of doctors and said, hey, send us your test results. Well, everybody that went to the doctor that week probably wasn't 100% healthy, and you can bet that there were very few people eating the proper human diet when they did this, when they made these things. So they basically just take everybody's blood test, look at the bell curve, and say, okay, right there in the middle of the bell curve, that's probably what normal is. And that's all there is to it. That's how they did it. Well, plants have sterols in them. Sterols, and Dr. Mason has a really good video about this, but sterols are very close to the molecular structure of cholesterol. So the body will soak up those sterols thinking they're cholesterol, but then once they get attached to the receptors, it can't use them. So the receptor stays, call it gummed up, for a while. And because we're continuing to pour these plants and seed oil sterols into our system, more and more and more of our cholesterol receptors get gummed up with this sterol that the body can't use. So that when you take a blood test, your total level of cholesterol is artificially lowered from what your body actually wants, because it has all these sterols in it instead of actual cholesterol. And it's my belief, my theory, if you will, that as we get off plants and seed oils, the sterols get flushed out of our system over time, which makes our cholesterol go up. And I say that these so-called higher dangerous cholesterol levels that you see on the proper human diet are actually the normal, what the body actually wants. Why else would we get so healthy? Okay. So, I think the body starts to sense it. It's like, hey, we've got all these cholesterol receptors that don't have any cholesterol on them. So I think what happens initially is the body creates this big, huge surge of cholesterol. And then after it realizes that you're not going back to eating seed oils and plants, it calms that back down a little bit, which is why it's my understanding that we see quite often, people go out and, they get their blood work done at the 2-month mark or the 3-month mark, and it's like, wow, I expected my cholesterol to go up, but I didn't expect it to go that high. But then if you take it again at the 6 or 9-month mark, it's come back down a little bit and kind of leveled out. I could be completely wrong, but that's just my theory on what's going on. As Professor K tells us, cholesterol is controlled by our genes. Our body knows how much it wants. So just leave it alone. But let's talk about weekly wins here for just a moment. Since I'm all the way back at the house, I'm going to go down to the other corner and back today. So what were your weekly wins? Mine, of course, this is the same as last week. Here I am yet again out walking in even colder weather, and my joints are still working. One of the reasons I started going south every winter was that my joints had gotten so bad that if I even bundled up like I am now, because I have on a pretty heavy pair of pants, a flannel shirt, and my Ohio State jacket, plus a fairly warm Santa hat. But even bundled up appropriately for the weather, if I went out into weather like this, back before the proper human diet, my joints would just lock up and I'd be in so much pain because the cold would really affect my joints. Now, not such a big deal. I was a little, worried about this walk today because it is so cold, but now I'm ready for even colder weather, just to see what happens. And I'm hoping we actually get some snow so I can get back out here and walk in the snow to finally give you guys a traction update on these shoes I got from Fitville. And of course, my other weekly win this week is I had a plan for Thanksgiving and I stuck to it. I had a roast in the refrigerator that I'd pre-cooked, so that all I had to do yesterday was cut it into slices, throw it in the skillet with some butter, and heat it up that way. It was really good. So what was your weekly win? Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think. What you did, how you did. Are you right back on track like you hoped? Or are you having a little trouble getting back? That's what I've got for you today, folks. Hopefully, the next time you see me, I'll get to say, yay, we beat that team up north. But I have no idea how it's going to go. Have a great day, everyone. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. We'll see you in the next one.